This is map 4 of the series of 6 that I produced for the South Dorset Ridgeway. This one covers the Blackdown and the Bronkham Hill area, which is the highest points along the Ridgeway. The starting point for all the maps is the geology of the area. The Blackdown area itself is this cap of loose gravels on top of the chalk, deposited there through the rivers that once ran over that landscape. And it's interesting that the vegetation absolutely completely mirrors the geology beneath. It's one of the most significant areas where you can really see that.
The geology of Dorset is really complex, and that's what gives us this amazing array of different habitats and different landforms. Everything is underpinned by that geology. So we've got a great mix between calcareous rocks, which gives special types of habitat, and acidic rocks and deposits, which give rise to very different habitats. So we've got this great range across Dorset.
So the white area here is chalk, the main high chalk ground of the Ridgeway.
Amanda's got a real appreciation and understanding of geology and has brought that out in her maps. And that's really helping get that part of the story across, that the geology underpins the landscape, its shape, the habitats that are on it, and the land use and the settlement patterns, so everything starts beneath our feet.
I was very interested in producing a monument which would use local materials, local building techniques, and it related to the area in terms of the actual material that was chosen. It was quite important to me to choose a local stone which people had used in the past for burial monuments, so we chose forest marble because it's sourced from a quarry about 5 miles away from here. It was quite important to me to talk about the idea of geology and layering, so the orientation point is produced from blue, buff, dressed forest marble, which comes from deeper in the ground, and then it gradiates up to thinner, shellier, undressed stones towards the top. So it talks about this idea of geology and layering in its colour, changing the colour and the texture and the thickness of the stones used.
One of the greatest pleasures I've always got from building is reusing anything that's lying around, because dry stone walling by its nature is a craft that was used in upland areas. It wasn't a craft, it was, it was doing a job. There wasn't wood in the upland areas, there was stone, so it was what was lying on the ground. You picked it up and you made your boundary. So here in this area it feels right.
The stone that's used here is part of the geology that is found on the South Dorset Ridgeway, and it's important to us that we didn't import stone from elsewhere. It's rooted in the landscape and it is of the landscape itself, and that's an important part of this sculpture. It tells the story from both its shape and design, but also its materials.
So on this map are little annotations of describing or pointing out certain features, like noting where there is dry stone walling, which in this particular case indicates a limestone area, because where limestone was plentiful, they would use that for walling. So you can usually get an indication of the geology below the ground by just looking at whether it's hedges or walls in the area. It's an extraordinary sort of feeling to have made these maps that will enable people to explore that landscape and understand more about it and to be inspired by it. The Blackdown area in particular and the Ridgeway obviously being a high point, and the landscape that you can see from there and the experience you have of that. And if those maps work into encouraging people to actually go out and explore that, that's an incredibly satisfying thing to have achieved, really.